Kosmos by Daniel Christopher June. Dedicated to my brother Joshua, healer of bodies and souls. The people do best to know the great, second best to love him, third best to fear him, worst of all to hate him. Faith is insufficient. You will find no worthy faith. Quietly esteem words. Put your work and deeds in order, and the people will say, "Marvel at what we did." The Tao Te Ching. Part 1. What is man? We might as well ask what man might be. Seeking clues in the initial and final things, we say with the Jews that man is clay, or with the Hindus that man is made of the divine substance, and agree with the first that man's primordial act as Adam was to break the law, or agree with the second that man's primordial act as Manu was to make the law. Scientifically, we would say man came from a family tree that includes all of animals in the plant kingdom. With Nietzsche, we might focus on what man might become, the overman. We might pick up a clue from the Mormons and say, as man is, God once was. As God is, man might one day be, positing God as the final figure, the final form, and man as larval divine. More exalted in extent and conception is the notion of Walt Whitman, who called the greatest men Kosmos, who took the God form as one more intermediary to the ultimate form, the grand full all. What presumption for you or I to claim to be even a good man, let alone an angel, a god, but to declare oneself as a cosmos, we must take the rhetoric as a bit of mystical tablature, along the lines of the Easterners who seek to be at one with everything. Such slogans being what they are, both the highest and lowest of men may repeat them, one speaking from genuine experience, the other speaking from fraudulent presumption. After all, there is always the difference between what a man thinks he is and what a man deep down really thinks he is. On the surface, at his boast, at his word, you would take him to be something special among men, a head above the rest, and if not recognized so, what a sad commentary on the blindness of the world. Yet deep down the man takes himself for nothing, or as good as nothing, useless, empty, a spore of fungus, maggot, worm, or toad. Any insinuation or intimation towards his own innermost truth will set him at your neck as your bitterest enemy, and so he must boast and toast himself and arrogantly commandeer over the opinions of others. How long before the universe educates him towards his innermost knot and gives him the violence to burst it? In asking what a man is, what you or I are, we will seek out what man can finally become, what he already is in nascence, what his potential includes, and the most optimistic figure takes man's range of power and growth as the infinitely expanding spiral. We will never be infinite, but we will always tend there. Does not our mortality give the lie to this? We look in the mirror and see that we have passed our peak. Not only will we no longer charge the 5K in 18 minutes, but soon enough we won't be able to run at all. Furthermore, what patronizing tones they take when they say our wrinkles tell on our wisdom. Perhaps we are losing touch with this world, with its technological womb, which continually produces a new society. My mother-in-law asked me to turn on the television, and my 3-year-old interrupted her to show her how. Even if she studies the latest technology, our minds also decay. We can't stay sharp until the end, and even if we could, the brain will certainly corrupt in the grave, with all those neural memories becoming as if they never were. What right do we have to take the opening spiral as a symbol of our essence, if we believe entropy is the fate of the universe? What right do we have to believe in our divinity, in our eternal progress, in the heaven we make and prepare for ourselves in all we do? The only truth of such eventualities is the intuition that they are and must be. Doubt seeps only so far. Dig deep enough in your being, close enough to the core of the uncreated self at our center, and such doubts no longer mean anything, because they no longer do anything. They have no function there. When a man comes to know his deepest self, such questions of afterlives and former lives sound to be what they finally always were, so many forms of poetical talk for the actuality of our being. A man is what he can take himself to be, not what he claims with his words to be, but what is in fact his deepest experience of himself. The mind's deepest reflection on itself we mythically call Licity. She is the image who greets us in the mirror. Licity mocks at our cowardice, and always shall, till we purify our heart. She is a purist. She would have us spotless. Such a one we equate with Satan, with Maya, this deepest of lovers. Facing the mirror of blinding truth, be advised to bring a second mirror. How Californian, after all, to declare oneself a god and be done with it! What presumption! Those who have truly felt the resurrection of their body and mind in this life are farthest from saying flat out, I am God, for being divine they have nothing to prove, and care least of all in being believed in, worshipped, or praised, for there is nothing divine in expecting such things of mere mortals. The divine praises us, coaches and encourages us. She has no vainglory. She serves us all and is thus greater than us all. Feeling in touch with the all is nothing, a mere ruse, if your life in its mundane plodding is not likewise transfigured. Feeling the embrace of the Alma trance, the stark bare bliss of union with the all, must permeate all your being, and characterize you in your best as well as your worst moments. You must, in a word, mature. Maturity is characterized by admitting not only the pleasant, but the unpleasant in the mind, admitting not only our strengths, but our weaknesses, as many as we can bear, not to disown them, but to incorporate them into a whole. The cosmos is inclusion of our world, not by a grand and easy leap, but by marching progress. Adolescence is the progression of the unconscious to the conscious. Every circuit of the expanding spiral of life, when our heart breaks and a greater heart emerges, takes us further over this progression. Each loop of the spiral repeats the bumps of the previous leap, either exaggerating them or diminishing them. This is the eternal recurrence of life, in this life, in the next. Every speck of this life repeats eternally, as we take in all our forms, angelic, deific, cosmic. The initial life set of experiences is the foundation of all experiences. This is fatal and this is free. There are many ways to build off a fact, many ways to interpret it. Finding out what we love and what we really love, not what we are told to love, that is the moment of choice in our life. What you love in your heart, be it called petty, greedy, blasphemous, rude, or whatever, insists on her place in your life. Whatever it be, whatever idol, it is the image of Amma. It is the lovely in and of itself. When you find the boldness of love to name the all and epitomize her in a pet name, she will respond to you and through you in a way where doubt becomes mere flirtation, and the possessivity of the all-touch is self-evident. Most of boast is bravado. See these secret gods who never tell themselves. They are as patient as time and as calm as heaven. These lovers become a true cosmos. They are simple in their pride. A mere sentence may require an encyclopedia to unpack. They have regained a connection with their original innocence. They can touch that innermost source, the fountain of new being, the source. Having the complete unknown at their center, they feel free to mingle their substance with nature and with the world. Nature, who we call Matria, and the world, or diversity, the human pantheon of situations. We contain diversity and are contained within diversity. An individual within a corporation is ontologically different than one outside it. Our soul takes on a resonance of all groups we participate within. Our being never forgets our part therein. How these worlds overlap, how our friends seem to pitch parallel battles to our own, till we get suspicious of providence in such subtle matters. At any given minute or in any given crisis, we could surmise that God is testing us, as all our world situations integrate as one question, and so our friends' worlds and struggles seem startling apropos. By opening the heart, when the heart is ready, we welcome no taint, but more of the same, a charge and energy for what we already in ourselves create. The raccoon panacea means to be all, I must eat all, must in my studies feast on the mind of America, my clime. I take these chance encounters and emerging friendships as augurs. Since my substance is writing, I make writing the digestion, the cooking of a tone. Yet sometimes pure anxiety must simply be sat upon. The body of the mind must incorporate those wild energies in a knot, in an anxiety, until it can disentangle them and make use thereof. Nature is the flesh of the all, the world the personality of the all. Nature is full of gods. By cohesion we resist. The world anticipates our resistance and places us thereby. If God were an exalted man, the all contains all men and all gods. It was high praise, as one commentator gave to the American prophet Joseph Smith, saying, he was not only candidate for president, but also mayor of Nauvoo, judge of the municipal court, merchant of the leading store, hotel keeper, official temple architect, real estate agent, contractor, recorder of deeds, steamboat owner, trustee and trust for all the finances of the church, lieutenant general of the Nauvoo Legion, spiritual advisor and Lord's communicant to the true church, king of the new kingdom of God, and husband of almost 50 wives. You or I, struggling with a single job and with one wife, might wonder if we could handle it, but we are as rich and manifold as he. A little integrity is better than any career, and much thought gives simple directness. Pride and power, certainly, but take pride only in what is truly your own, and you can boast as much over the small song you wrote as a symphonist over his, assuming the same amount of self-overcoming and world-overcoming was involved. To include diversity means to incorporate the world around you, to use what is and what you love, and not wish it were something else, something more exalted. something with a better name in the world. What we call therapy is called hobby among normal people, and all things collude to call us forward, to help us mature. Religions, therapies, spiritual quests, artistic problems, career challenges, family issues, all teach the same lessons, all amount to the same. What matters is you face what is yours to face, not that the whole world applaud you. The love of the mother is enough. To belong in the universe, in loving touch with the all, is enough. My salvation, being allistic, affirms all. It does not cut bonds. We include diversity, yet take sides. Nature takes sides. The diversity of the world is bid upon by pragmatic nature. We include diversity and exclude diversity, being by nature allistic. We can see it both ways, but we choose one. An artist can't paint everything. Art is selection. Art is mostly exclusion. Yet what we include is representative, as we are each all men to each other. To my lover I am not a man, but all man. To my children not a father, but all father. To my wife not a husband, but all husband. To Amma not a soulmate, but all soulmate. Each is all and everything is everything. Yes, each individual is his own species. Thomas Aquinas said this was true for the angels, and each angel is its own species, but this is as true for men and women. What I have to offer from my innermost can never be created anywhere else at any time in all the universe. The same is true for you. We contain diversity, yet we are nature. We choose one way to move in. In one direction we have infinite growth, and all others finite. There will soon be no more priests, said Whitman. Their work is done. A superior breed shall take their place. The giants of Kosmos and prophets unmask. Through the divinity of themselves shall the cosmos and the new breeds of the poets be interpreters of men and women in all events and things. We choose to be one thing, that thing only we are, and then take in all things in relation to the one. Emerson, in his preaching career, made an early sermon, bumbling and awkward as it was, in his journals, asking his audience to imagine a speaker with such eloquence as to move the congregation to awake, 50 of them at once, into their divine being. He ruefully wished such power was his own, but clearly it wasn't. Yet. All we dream of we will one day receive, though perhaps we won't recognize it when it finally comes. What dare a man be? What can he honestly take himself for? He may listen to the undersong of the universe, and hear that it is an unanswered question, as Charles Ives' song of the same name, in which the druidic strings of silent tranquillity persist, though the trumpet asks, "What are we here for?" And the fluets in agitated conjecture and religious dogma try to answer. The strings of the absolute prevail in the end, and yet the undersong is not the last word. The innermost adds something to that undersong, that celestial harmony, that was entirely lacking, that could be entirely lacking for all time, were any of us not to exist. We seek in life a resonant name, a shining face, an open heart of resplendence. We may say with the exuberant Emerson, "I am content to belong to the great all," but soon, like him, we must finally add to the great all. What began as the simple genuine self against the whole world must with love of the world include diversity, take on everything. Yes, we must first find that immovable inner anchor, the Archimedean point of the absolute, which not God, not even the all, can touch. Having gained that, we become immortal and invincible. Then properly we seek our muse, what in the world calls us, our calling, and say with Emerson, "Whatsoever is highest, wisest, best, favor me. I will listen and then speak." Never regret your genuine actions. Once you find yourself, have gratitude for the crooked path that brought you there. It is easy enough to see the best path from the mountain's top, but until you forge your own trail to get there, such a path is a mere rumor and distraction. Wherever is life, where is God, there the universe evolves itself as from a center to its boundless irradiation, Emerson also said, not yet admitting that nature is full of gods, and so each of us can be, but not only, no, for we can progress yet past that, as Odin discovered when devoured by the wolf. We reach an apotheosis, even after we find our godhead. What matters finally is not the grandiosity of our terms, but realizing what you believe yourself to be. Better even to declare yourself a worm, so long as it sets you in the right direction. Containing the diversity of the world, and the unity of nature, we would not be ashamed to, with Diogenes Laertes in his tub, dine with mice of the fields. Holding self-reverence, we may peer as low or as high as the situation calls for. What matters such seeming when we have found our being? Part 2. To hold to one's own long enough to secure the Archimedean point, the absolute anchor of the innermost, is not to close oneself selfishly forever, but to finally reach out, as a lover reaches out, to the beauty of the other, seeing in others and in all things the same infinite abyss, the plethora-abyss, and seeing through all things combined the fullness of all being we call Matriyama. The mind is a sphere, and the group mind is a larger sphere, and the national mind is a larger sphere, and the world mind is a larger sphere still. We see our body as a globe, and so we identify our body and its vitality with the earth herself. For the man who is all is the amplitude of the earth, and the coarseness and sexuality of the earth, and the great charity of the earth, and the equilibrium. To explain in a phrase the growing spiral of maturity in our powers, first in the straight power of amplitude, or the intensity of passion and purpose, second the erotic drive, which is first felt in the youth, then the agape of charity, or parental love, which is a mature love, and finally the equilibrium of each against the other. For amplitude requires equilibrium to find flourish and fulfillment. The erotic awakening is the first great tension. The tension of sexual character is knit in adolescence, begun in autoeroticism, as one slowly learns the way of his body, and extending to a sort of selfish taking love, perhaps, but finally to a shared bliss, the joy of give and take, the mind-blowing embrace of mature, respectful, passionate love-making. For sheer amplitude, consult the infant, or again the toddler for dramatic expression, who, lacking the equilibrium of maturity, howls and wails when his will is thwarted. The goddess, after all, is fourfold: child, maiden, mother, crone, each its beauty, and each its light. We would retain the wisdom of each age to enter the kingdom as a child, and also enter the kingdom as an elder. What a monster would be a virginal mother! The virgin has no right, no comprehension of motherly love, lacking the necessary education of erotic reciprocation. Instead, to save Christianity, we must take this metaphor as for a mother who knows how to give and receive pleasure, yet in her sexuality retains the sensitivity of the virgin, the innocence of the virgin, an eternal innocence that only intensifies through her experience, even her sexual experience. No other conception of a virgin mother is true to life. We seek to maintain the amplitude of power, even in sex, but in a sex that degrades while proving power, limiting power. We can only grow so much in that direction before we are self-disgusted and must let it off. Hold to eternal directions and drop what exhausts itself. Our struggles and humiliations will yet empower us. Faith in compensation is a bonus without a loss. Pains empower, trauma sophisticates, tragedy dignifies, suffering maketh profound. Is not all of life a sort of sexual embrace for the lover? Sex by nature is repetitive, an interplay of intimacy and alienation as we move in and out and thread our souls together. Repetition is learning. In the same way, we pick up a book, a great book, after years of absence, and find it has grown with us, has more to give, has matured as we have matured, for books are living beings. It wasn't until we had free time that we could even think, could enjoy these things. Leisure to lust, this we've been seeking. I am in love with life, and especially now. Life is a series of excesses that in the progression balance each other out. I might read Kenneth Burke for months, swig endless coffee, sweet tea, cupcakes, and I'm gluttonous, but in a few weeks I am fasting. Yesterday I was rigid as a post, and nobody would as much as return a smile. Today I am liquid ease in my smile and manner, and all the world smiles back. Though I could not buy your company yesterday, even with maudlin niceness, today you come close and bask in the glow of my love. And so is the equilibrium in all things, according to the law of compensation. Where material freedom is lacking, spiritual freedom must come. My lack of material freedom, family, the house I never leave, is relieved by intellectual quests. My nighttime reading takes me flying. What matters is repetition, to try again at the same things, to keep up the routine, to deepen it. I must find my amplifying circuit. Drudgery needs entertainment. Boredom needs distraction, and all these things are melted in the holy spirit of language itself. Language is love. And by using the controls of diet, coffee, sex, rituals, rites, cleaning, instincts, I can set the mood each day for creating, and slowly build my months to a climax. Excess balances excess as outrage balances outrage. If we endure an extreme in duty, we must permit an extreme indulgence. Urge and urge and urge, always the procreant urge of the earth. In my love I am able to absorb your harshest throes. Monsters expose inner subtlety. What is monstrous in the other is slight in me. We resonate together and we are drawn to this field. We are like Joseph Smith, who, as a friend said, talked incessantly of himself, what he had done, and could do more than other mortals, and remarked that he was a giant, physically and mentally. We could as well shut up, and beam our love through silent certainty. At normal, nothing is done, but an imbalance flexes the bow. The law of compensation is the metaphysical law of each and all. Insofar as a group would be a brotherhood, it must discredit outsiders. Eros, as the knit of the group, is the creative substance, as always. We create each other through erotic love, and create a third thing, the child, whom we raise with agape love. Care, or kriya, creativity itself, is a fluid of focus. This is the stuff of earth, 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 which the cosmos takes as another symbol for itself. The earth is love, the rhythms of nature are sex. What we as poets, as artists, as Kosmos seek is to unite our innermost rhythm with the rhythms of our group, our romance, of our marriage, of our family, of our church, of our party, of our state, of our nation, of our continent, of mankind, of nature, of the earth. And as individuals in touch with their own unique contribution and in command and self-mastered, self-composed, we have found that organizing rhythm. Holding fast to that and never forsaking it, so we are able to shake kingdoms, ages, the very earth to the wonder of her womb. Life is self-development, and the self has many layers. We have the core. Yet my family is myself, my neighborhood is myself. Whatever I am able and eager to identify with is another concentric circle of myself. A secret is kept only by silence. But the secret whispered in my ear by Matriyama reverberates through all my being, flashes out my limbs, and shivers out my fingers. Those who love me encourage me. Cheer is courage. If I am selfish, then you who hold me rejoice, for you are also a self with me. And the all-encloser, the Holy Spirit, who is a face of Amma, the All, lives in our language and spreads outward from us over all the earth into the hearts and minds of all the world's peoples, fathers and mothers, sons and daughters, the myriads of the people, in their simplicity and depth, as if each person were a facet of that infinite diamond the All, yet being something in and of himself or herself, at his or her heart a beautiful and terrifying plethoribus, a resonant shaker of history and maker of worlds. Part 3. The body is after all sexual, and the mind, naturally enough, is an expression of the body. Will never lack for a body, will always take forms for all eternity, shedding what grows old, and taking on the apotheosis of a higher infancy. Were our individual experiences and memories to really be forgotten, why live, to what purpose? For the man who is all has not looked forth from the windows of the eyes for nothing, or whose brain held audience with messengers for nothing. But experience is the creation of the soul, and the soul is the union of self with world. We come to life to learn, experience, live, grow, learn, suffer, embrace, laugh, sing, triumph, play, and find life anew. The infant occult by which we take the newborn as a symbol for the highest life is true, if taken in the right way. All hail experience, yes, but all hail receptivity for further experience. Every experience changes how we experience the next. Every choice we make changes the choices we will be able to make tomorrow. Life affirmation, amor fati, is in comprehending all our experiences and choices, affirming them all, growing by them all, repeating them in grander gestures, and developing compact symbols, both from our community, our religion, and out of the flesh of our own lived experience. A symbol is a pattern of experience. Once we have the symbol, the idea, and assume it, we experience along its modality. It becomes our terminal screen, our interface. The flesh became word is a true progression of the divine. And so in my psychosis I find creativity is psychosis, that true ideas begin as madness and ascend into sanity. Method takes decades. I must humbly insist on myself for years before I can proudly insist on myself. The poet comes first, then the philosopher, then the hero, then the politician. I affirm them all. The dark days I also affirm, when I can't create the perfect touch, my mind blunted. It takes a novelist 10 years to digest his experience in gestate literature. Lyric poetry is written in the immediacy of the flame. We live for today, we live for tomorrow, each from each to each. Silence builds. Wounds deepen before they fill, and fill with power at last. What we dread most in life, or seek most, is a bare experience, simple, quick, and yet all the rest exists for that. The orgasm is a culmination, a justification, but must be anticipated in hope and also treasured in memory to be epic. A random wet dream amounts to nothing, were it even more intense than sex, because it means less. Having experienced an epic, we can reduce it to the lyric, the gesture. We develop that sense of intensity. Politeness is a concentration of morality. The man who has thought the most can't be caught off guard. Ovath, as Odin the Wanderer, being the most indirect, is also the most direct, the most penetrating, straight to the heart. How many failures success is made from? Charles Ives, America's composer, like Whitman, America's poet, wished to speak to the people, and, like Whitman, was least understood by those he loved the most, the commoners. Again and again over the next years he would be reminded that the majority was hardly more interested in his music than his politics, a biographer said of Ives, to which he had to stubbornly insist. I am not a bad composer. I'm a very good one, though it's inconvenient to have no one who knows that but myself. It's the artist's fluency amidst his experiences that enriches his art. He contains diversity because he is able to admit to himself his failures, humiliations, losses, pains, and getting through and past them, on to even subtler and quieter feelings, amplifying them and exalting them. A man must make peace with his body, make peace with his childhood, his parents, must learn to understand, use, and love them all, affirm them all, for we are made to become better. Our early pining, our infant dreams seem silly to us as adults, but indirectly they have been fulfilled. Emerson wished to be a modern Plutarch, a modern Solomon, write his own biographies, his own proverbs, but soon outdrank the Bible. For all books point to God as a shadow points to the sun, but no one book contains all of God. Alma all is direct experience without intermediary. No name contains her, but the name that can be named is not the eternal name. Emerson was able to take nature as scripture, as a metaphysical stepping stone, to vacate the place of idolatry of a mere book, and let nature stand in that prominent location. And so we all do. We build a space. Disillusionment makes room for a wider, greater illusion, one that is real to life. Or to say it better, illusion is replaced by art, and art is the perfecting of nature. God crowns the persistent, and the world bows to will. Caesar, taken captive by the corsairs and rehearsing his speeches, abused them if they failed to admire, and threatened to crucify them one day, which he did, the natural empire of a strong will. Even gentle Emerson held such a will in his heart. We need the amplitude first, and then the equilibrium. First learn to talk, then learn not to. Thus we fall into experience, weep, wail, and wish ourselves dead, rueing that we lack the courage for suicide. Yes, but some ideas can be drawn only from the well of sadness. Despondency happens to us all. What we make from it determines our destiny on earth, and our destiny beyond this earth. Part 4. Nietzsche's vision of the perfect man was an amalgam of Jesus and Caesar. Power must temper love, and the man who would be lover of the earth must also command and preside. Emerson's version of the ideal man included a combination of Plato, Shakespeare, Napoleon, and Jesus. Such a one was yet to come, and amidst them we do find that Plato's Socrates stands for philosophy, Shakespeare's Hamlet for literature, and the Gospel's Jesus for religion. Adjusting ourselves to contain all such figures, to bring them into our own, to feed the identical faculties in our own brain and heart, we must learn to love all kinds, to be he who contains believer and disbeliever, who is the most majestic lover. In college, afflicted with Christian zeal, I attempted to convert a friend of my group, Michelle, and while discussing my faith at length with her, she finally exclaimed that she could not accept it. She could not believe in a God who sent people to hell. I said to her, I pity her. She told me it made her feel like shit. This was one of my ugliest moments. There is no love in that. There could be no heaven or ultimate beatitude that excluded disbelievers, heretics, agnostics, and atheists. The soul revolts. The most majestic lover invites all who can stand equal. Such is the logic of style which expresses a rhythm of attitudes. That style always holds audience. The materialization of thoughts, the spiritualization of facts, the interplay of spiritualization and materialism is the coarseness and refinement of the lover's embrace. Gentle and firm, he submits, he dominates. We love the truths of the myths, we do not attempt to factualize them. There is the literal story and the phantasmagorical trope. We watch a movie about dinosaurs, vampires, aliens, whatever, but the real story is a small ring upon which the tent is foisted. The fantastic, the miraculous, is mere rhetorical gesture. Rather than dazzle me with miracles, make me simply happy. I see you cannot. I see that responsibility is my own. So save your faith healing, your by Christ Almighty's, I'm done forever with that sort. Yet I love those who are perfect men despite their beliefs, who use such faiths as metaphorical tropes to make them, in fact, better and divine. The mythic form is trope. Those who insist on superstitions indeed miss the point. Love as gesture, as symbol, the genital ceremony of threading of love, of the push in and pull out, is as much of the breath and inflection of the sentence as in the physical act of erotic embrace. The majestic lover is able to hold his beloved, to reach her where she is at, to bring her up to his level, and she brings him up to her level. If she defers, resists, hides, he must not insecurely wonder at what fault she has guessed at, but, strong and magnanimous, be patient as time and as gentle as breath. Some people, after all, wish to be contained. They wish to be forced, to let a stronger will for them. If they have some petty egoism about the matter, they may complain indignantly. They may say they wish it were otherwise, but lo, it is not so. For we come to settle where we belong, we choose our fate. I find in my current profession as news reporter the anxiety of world news. The world of news is a sort of world bustling, a world gossip which gives real world narrative, a gleam of the mythosphere, and as a journalist I am implicated in this world gossip. My readers who respond generally abuse me. It's an ugly world, the world of news, and an ugly world responds. How then to hold my soul boldly, to report according to my conscience, and not dragged down from the weight of perpetual negativity? Striving for simplicity, to make the simple difference, to give that one gift I alone can give to you, which I can give to you and nobody else, I address the world in one tone, my friends another, as modalities of the same. I am able to address the world mind as world mind, and the individual as individual. What is realized is materialized, what is spiritualized is abstracted. A commerce of each into each enriches my soul. I grow by my efforts. I heed the images and voices of my mind, ferret out their source, interrogate them, meditate with a mirror deep into the night. For voices are internalized representations. How could I be a lover to anybody if I did not preen out all the flaws from my heart, daily seeking to be worthy of those I love, and strong enough to face rejection with grand ease? They say the world is dirty, it dirties the soul, but this is not quite so. What is practical impurity? It is that the idealist can imagine a gold that is 100% pure, but in reality gold always has some microscopic impurity. What is this ideal we hold in our head, by which we damn believers or disbelievers? Reality triumphs. Mutts survive. Savior too good for this world, for such people are not good enough. Even the villain has his place, and the villain is the oil of history. Certainly he makes for good literary medicine, as hardly a plot exists without him. A setting is necessary. We require an initiation to set certain images and tones as central. Making them central can't be willed. It requires an education. Being so initiated in both the sacred and blasphemous, we can generate new novel language. You in your solitude have forgotten how to love. Your love is all dried up like a mother's breast unsucked. Or you cannot bring her to climax, being awkward and nervous. In daily life you stutter, you glare, you present a cold shell to hide your fears. Most people can't be direct from fear, or from lack of articulateness. We try to express this subtle thing, but are so ashamed that we let ourselves be misunderstood. What, after all, is all this indulgence over love, you might query? Romantic love is potential. It is narcissistic of the couple to sing of each other, of us, endlessly. An individual who does so is likewise a braggart. Romance passes. Yet romantic love is never lost, but only converted into a working partnership. The couple loves each other through their home and children. The spiritual love has materialized as house and children, and no longer an adventure. We protect children from real adventure, real danger, admitting it as slowly increased increments. But as the initial love is romantic adventure, getting the sense of risk must henceforth be framed as a danger to the family. A love that is a betrayal. The romance must be converted to commitment for the family to thrive. The tempestuous energy of romance never dies, but is set in batteries to work the wires of married life. The chasms of absence between friends, between lovers, between man and wife nevertheless arise unknown. We grow drowsy and forget our place. A night talking with you reminds me of my place. It is music, with its many expressions and releases. You, Ama, evoke the voice, and I respond. Would I brag endlessly of love? We frown upon bragging in our society, but if you are careful to praise something you identify with other than your exact self, spouse, child, school, nation, God, you might be able to get away with it. Look at all the would-be revolutionaries who sneer at the secret ballot with their public protest. I feel better to move in subtler directions, as with this one, my friend. I express my heart to him, plant an idea in his head, this idea of dynamic perfection. He greatly resists, but makes creative use of it in resisting. I am fiercely loyal to those my own, and those are for me always near. Perfidious, I oppose world religions not in the murderous sense, but in the sense of competition, the contest of religion and philosophies. I believe in no one religion, but I believe in them all together, in their competition. My manner of embracing each is crucial. Manner is second beauty, is grace. I am equally majestic in what I dismiss, and there is much in allism I dismiss, and oppose, and have no part within. The infallibility of the Bible is a Protestant dogma, as the infallibility of the Pope is a Catholic. Sick to my heart over the sectarianism, I must affirm what is best in each, and affirm also what is best in all. At age 33, the age of calling, I cannot like the Buddha leave child and wife. I must affirm all, even those who believe against me. After all, what is best in me is irresistible. The inner form, or subtle form, or spirit, conforms and is conformed by the total form, the material form. This is the soul that the self and the body both contribute towards. By loving this, I dismiss that, but hate not the one who does otherwise. I immerse myself in what I love. To increase the surface area, the amount of contact with the thing, I immerse myself, not just studying an author, but everything about him, drawing as always from my source, and also my lover. Those words by subtle conversions fill my heart with a river of light. That one is Amma, my fountain of delight. Harmony was Ives' muse, the main inspiration of his maturity, said a biographer of Charles Ives' wife. Their love was his deific experience, yet it was a love unpublished, a hidden thing, private to his heart, and invisible, transformed only in his music. We see the same in the majority, the common mind, the will of God, these coalitions of men that think and act as one group body. What they express and their secret experiences are seemingly contradictory, yet substantially the same. Dismiss whatever insults your own soul, Whitman advises, and so much I dismiss in this world, but with grace. I smile and look away. I do not prate and obsess. I had obsessed before and grew ugly. How is that worthy of the ones I love? How is it worthy of myself? I give my best to you. Authors write to authors. I address Amma. I address my own. I would call a song to the few who would hear me, and offer what little I know. This modern life is crowded and rushed, the tempo too fast. I create another space, a space where we can play, where I can fill you with my love. My daughter, who processes her young life through stories of an imaginary friend, is able to remain nonplussed by the day's extravagancies, saying, "My best friend Minnie had a birthday." She lives in a big house, far away, and slowly threads in tropes from daily life stories into her own. I, in my sympathy, writing about the world, listening to my friends, adopt that American virtue of sympathy, which is the same as pride and partner thereto. Certainly in life we find counter-taste and rage. How to be bigger than that? How to get used to ugly things? Keep a thing at hand for 7 years and you will find a use for it, one might advise. And those things I would no longer use or be used by, my bonds of weakness, I will also dissolve. Dependence is weakness. A lover is majestic by not needing his beloved, not needing to believe with her or against her. Whatever satisfies the soul is truth. So let me prove nothing to you henceforth. Let me apply the poetry of Emerson, who spoke of a Daniel as if he meant me when he said, "In the word, a wise man, Daniel, is the man in whom the spirit of the mighty gods abide. His goodness doth permit the deity within to appear in his own light." What more indeed have I aimed for? We answer our own prayers. Amma instructs. Our gaze upon the world is a sort of prayer, a call by which we seek our aims. I offer those few, my own, a perfect and independent love. I offer those few, my own, a perfect and independent love. I let my holiday gifts be poetry, a symbol of who the person is to me, giving him to himself. Amma is not someone you pray to, but someone you pray with. She is equally the circle of your inner friends. In your love, then, be the mirror God, who takes on the disease of others, mirrors it, cures it in her person, and so becomes the cure. Love is risk. Brave it. Always attack your fears, my brother recommended. Having passion, who can resist you? The heart of fire melts the hearts of everybody. And yet again, walls preserve friendships. Some matters are private, must be to you. Old friends fit best, as a matter of course, yet each hides aspects away from me. What I can appreciate, I praise, for praise improves goodness. There is somewhat of the unknown in each of you. Often I feel like a magnet in sawdust, wondering why nobody moves. I seek blanks of absence, quiet spaces, the privacy of night, to pine and think. Friendship teaches us ourselves, but the lesson must be worked out alone. I like who I am with you. Often I will return to your side. We still need our absences. We still need vacations. I may walk upon the truth, but I also walk off it at times. You pray endlessly of your Muhammad, your Buddha, your Christ, and I say with Emerson, when anyone comes who speaks with better insight into moral nature, he will be the new gospel. Miracle or not, inspired or uninspired, he will be the Christ. He didn't even know he was speaking of himself. Best to be blissfully aware of what we eternally will be. Best to be happy as a hobby, to have happy health, to lose oneself in art and pleasure at times, and be absorbed entirely in sex. This majestic forgetting reminds us to soar in ease.